So what's up, y'all? We're back. Shadow Code Radio. Your boy Sean P and Reese in segment two. So in our final wrap up of really games, Drillmatic, the heart and the mind, we're gonna talk about a couple of other podcasts and what they thought of it. But we're gonna talk about compilation albums too. Um, really, um, can you make a great compilation album, and what's the the secret to it? Really, you know what I mean? We've already said what we thought about this game album, you know, but which basically is a compilation, um, for all intents and purposes. How do you make a great compilation album? What ingredients do you need? So, and do they really work in today's game as far as the albums are concerned? Do compilation albums really work? But first, let's get to According to Hip Hop. Shout out to According to Hip Hop. Check their site out. Check out Mike D and Coop. Definitely, they do excellent reviews. They're really big on hip hop coverage of all the hot topics and also music reviews. But they kind of had an alternative take as to what we have about the games album, Drillmatic, the heart, art, and the mind. And first, I want to talk about how they felt about Black Slim Shady. So um, they thought it was a genius move for Game to mock Eminem, um, and make it seem rap exactly like Eminem, because they made it he really exaggerated Eminem to the point where it was, corny. And because everybody said that this song was corny, that it was a genius move, because they were pointing out that Eminem really is a corny rapper. And that's why they do not like people don't like the record, is they don't like the corny Eminem style that Game is exaggerating. Not so much the diss part, but it was a genius move to mock Eminem and basically call out his style for being corny. So to them, that was genius. I think they rated the diss song an A or a B plus or A or something like that. I just got to get your thoughts on that one.
First of all, song is not genius. I don't care if you try to mock Eminem and say rap. We all know Eminem don't rap like that. Okay, you may sound like that, but let's be clear here. We're talking about a man who has classic songs. Like, I'm talking classic on classic on classic on classic. Whether you black, white, it doesn't matter. People know the lyrics to all these songs. Even they know the lyrics to the songs. So when people say stuff like that, you're capping. Because you know the lyrics to the songs. You say he corny, but I guarantee you know the lyrics to at least 10 of Eminem songs. You probably know more lyrics to Eminem songs than you do the Game songs. That's the crazy part to me. You know what I'm saying? So when they make these bold claims like that and say, oh, Eminem's corny, you're capping. Stop. All right, you might think Eminem's corny now, but back in 2000, everybody was an Eminem fan. It was unbelievable how many fans he had back then. Unbelievable. When he rapped with Lyricist Lounge, oh, he was the GOAT back then. Oh, this white boy's crazy. When he did the freestyles on Hot 97 and radio stations, oh, he was the best ever. When he dissed Cannabis, he was the best ever. You can't fuck with Eminem when he dissed Meatloaf, and when he dissed, what's the other dude name? When he was coming at everybody. When he brought all the Slim Shadys to the Source Awards or wherever, the fucking Grammy Awards. He was the GOAT then. Now all of a sudden he's corny because it's so easy to say he's corny now because the internet is just gonna pile on with you. Just keep it a buck. Like, you know, you was an Eminem fan back in the day. Just say you always to be an Eminem fan, but I don't like his music now. Just say that. So, oh, you make Game made everybody realize that Eminem's always been corny. Like, stop, bro. Stop. He wasn't corny when he did the song with Big. He wasn't corny when he did Renegade. Like, stop, bro. You niggas need to stop. Like, come on. I could guarantee if I
I
play
think
Renegade, they'll know the songs.
I think this is the thing that they also brought up, and this is my real issue with their take on it. And Coop brought it up, saying that imitation is the biggest form of flattery. But then he back backpedaled on it and said, "Well, this is not really imitation. This is really mockery of 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 Eminem, and in mockery, it's showing how corny Eminem is, which is a genius part." But I want to go back to that imitation is the biggest form of flattery. So I could point out three instances in Game's career where he put Eminem on a pedestal. First of all, he said on his song on documentary, I think it's called "Hate the Game," right?
Yeah.
On "Hate the Game," he said, "Call up Dr. Dre, Eminem ate me on my own shit." So he openly admitted that Eminem killed him on his own rap song, which is his best rap song. Okay, his best rap album. He openly admitted. In another interview several years later, he said, "Ain't nobody in the game fucking with Eminem. Uh, Eminem is the best. Is the best of something. The best of the best. GOAT, whatever you want to call it." I don't have the transcript of what he exactly said up there. It's been posted all over our page. So um, he basically put Eminem on a pedestal, and even the video that we did, Reese, the Eminem the video of Game where he called out Eminem earlier this summer, he still gave Eminem props as, listen, I think he's one of the greatest lyricists of all time, blah 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 blah. So I want to go back to that imitation is the biggest form of flattery, right? It's one thing if he's mocking Eminem and he really thinks that Eminem is corny like that. But my pushback to that is, why would he put him on a pedestal at several points in his career and now all of a sudden he's corny, so I gotta mock him? Like, where does that energy come from? Because at at some point he thought Eminem was a great guy, so now all of a sudden he's not great just because. How do you explain the other parts in his career where they put this man? He put this man on the highest pedestal out there. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest problem with what they said is they don't address that. That's why we got to get them on the show, because how come you're not going to address that part, or you're just going to gloss over the fact that he basically said Eminem slaughtered me on my best song, on my best album. If that's
Mm-hmm.
not the biggest form of flattery, what is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think people say these things and they say these words and they really don't understand the meaning of these words. So they'll just saying because it could be a known saying. Like imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Well, imitation and mockery is the same word. It's just mockery leans a little more towards negativity, and imitation is basically you're mocking the way somebody do something. It's just a way of acting. So it's really the same thing. Now that's one point. The second point is it's disingenuous for them to get on their show and say that and not call out Game for saying Eminem was better than him. So you're telling me that the artist that you say is better than Eminem, he believes that the artist that you saying is better than him, he believes the artist is better than him. So if Game says that Eminem is better than him when it comes to at one point, because I think in the interview he said, yeah, Eminem's one of the best. I just think I'm better. He did say that. But
Yeah, yeah.
before that, he said several times. My thing is, okay, what point in your career, what happened in your career before that interview where you felt as though that you did something that you can say superseded Eminem and made you better? What did you do? Because that rap album that you said he was better than you on, That's your best rap album. Outside of that, you went down. So where did you go and say, okay, yeah, see, I could point to this. This is a point of reference where I say that I'm better than Eminem because look at this right
Or I
here.
passed him
I
over,
passed him
exactly.
over. Weird.
At what point did I pass him over in his career to say I'm better than him? Exactly.
Weird. Where did you do that at? That's what I want to understand. So when you saying that, you just listen. You're saying you're better than Eminem is because that's the conceitedness in you. Don't confuse conceitedness for confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is. That's my conceitedness. I'm better than Eminem, but you don't have no point of reference to show me where you were better than Eminem at. And especially with this song, you definitely don't show me nothing.
But seeing it again with the diss song, and Game even said he contradicted himself in the diss song and said, "Well, uh, I only listen to one out of your 11 albums, and the rest are trash." But you clearly rapped his style and bit small lines from
Every one of the
10 of
albums.
those trash albums. So for you to study Eminem's style that intricately, you obviously had to listen to all his shit. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
had to listen to all of Eminem's stuff to get his style down and get it down so well to diss him in his style. So that again, like, and there's no accountability on the podcast for that. Like, well, he's saying Eminem is corny, but if he's so corny, why is he studying him? Why, you know what I mean? He had to be doing something at, throughout his career to pay attention and take notes on Eminem to get his style down like that.
Yeah.
But there's no accountability. They don't explain that in their
Yeah.
podcast. Like, I don't understand, because it could be so genius, but, and this is my take, it, it sounds to it makes Game look pretty pathetic because it makes you look like a stan, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much jealous of this guy because in the end of the day, you were mad that he took your spot at the Super Bowl because he's not from LA, you are. And you felt offended by that. You felt away. And then you pumped it up in your head that you were really better than him. You really think you're better than him. And you studied his style.
Mm-hmm.
And you studied his moves all through his career because you knew the dude could move units. You knew the dude could shift the culture. You wanted to be that at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You try to be that. And ever since documentary, bro, your whole career has just took a downward slide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have um all the features you want to try and save you, but bro, your career has been really going in the tank to the point where you're talking about you really retired. So in the end of the day, you had to study something from him to go ahead and give him that level of detail on a diss record. So I don't know. I just totally disagree with their take on that.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to have them on the show so we could debate this or talk about it. There's a couple of things that they say on their show that I want to, confront them about because I think they clearly have a bias towards a lot of things and they don't fully explain why. They say, okay, yeah, you can have your opinion, but if you're gonna do blogging, you have to at least explain why you feel that way. You can't just say, well, this is what I believe and that's it. I don't care. And it's like, no, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they did a review on Eminem's album, not Eminem, but on Game's album, and they're thinking, they're talking. It's one of the better projects, top albums of the year. You know what I mean? And I'm saying to myself, well, where do you get that logic from? You know what I mean? Like, it is, and he said, oh well, one of the points they made was he's proven he's one of the most versatile rappers in the game or of all time on this. So just because you get a bunch of features on there and you rap like the other rappers on their feature to the point where you do their type of song on your album, that makes you versatile.
That's
But
the
at what
but that's
point?
the
What?
same thing that he did with the Eminem song. He just
Yeah,
mocked everybody else. So why
yeah,
is it that okay? Like, is he making them sound better by mocking them or imitating them? He ain't doing. My thing is like, all right, let's. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put it out there. Kendrick Lamar is versatile. J. Cole is versatile. Drake is versatile. They create styles. Eminem is versatile. He created a whole different rap pattern. Royce the 5'9" is versatile. Black Thought is versatile. Those dudes rap whatever way they want to rap. They create game. All Game does is he's the guy in class that don't know the test, and he looks over at your test and he writes down the same answers you write down. He's that guy. So he takes a piece of crepe paper and traces. He doesn't create anything. So how can you say that he's versatile? He just goes off of what everybody else does. He just mocks everybody else or imitates everybody else. Eminem created that whole style that he imitated. He hasn't created anything. So he's not versatile. He just copies people's style. That's it. You get what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me how they would say that. It's like, come on, man. Let's be serious here. Let's be serious.
yeah. I really don't understand the logic on that as to why. And this album, just from the reviews and the takes, I've been reading all over the internet. I've been looking up, from album of the year to Metacritic to all of these. This album's getting roasted, dog. It's getting roasted. So for you to come out and say that it's such a great album and you really enjoy it and it shows the versatility of Game, what are you seeing that the rest of the world is not? I really got to know.
Listen,
You know
man.
what I mean? Unless it's like, listen, I'm a Game fan. I'm a fan of the guy. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed the album. All right, that's fine. But come on, versatile?
You can't,
I don't know,
and
man.
I'm gonna end it off with this. You can't come for any of the three kings, bro. That's it. Only the other two kings can come for the other king. That's it. Only Nas and Jay Z can come for Eminem. That's it. And only he can come for them. Game is nowhere near on their level. He can't come for the king, bro. That's it. When you come for the king, this is what happens. And people could say, oh, well, no. I believe that the reason why his album failed because he dropped that song and he started talking about Eminem, and people don't want to hear that shit. People don't care for it. Because that's the only thing that they got. He has 100 features on here, and the only thing everybody's talking about is the song about Eminem, and they saying it's trash. Nobody's
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, yo, that song with Pusha T is kind of fire." No,
Nobody.
trash.
You know what? Nobody's talking about that. And that's a very good song. That's a very good feature. They're not talking about it.
Can't come for the Kings, man. Don't do it.
So let's call it what it is. Compilation album. This
Yeah.
is what this is. 30 tracks or whatever. And can this style win? And you brought it up. The more songs, the more chances you have to put out forgettable music, filler music, or trash music. You know, um, I'm not a fan of big albums. I don't. I think you shouldn't have really no more than 15. I think 17 pushing it. Kendrick kind of got away with it by having 20, but he has skits on there. But in all reality, some of the skits in the interludes were kind of the weakest points on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So he even overdid it a little bit. So can you win with this style? Like, because I just think it's a bad move to put out 30 records unless you're just going for singles. You don't care about putting out a quality album. You just want to get singles and streams on the radio. And I don't think Game is that type of artist. What's your take on that?
It really. I'm gonna be honest with you. compilation album versus someone who has a lot of features is two different things to me. Now, Khaled, I don't like Khaled albums. I think they be all over the place. But those are compilation albums for singles. It's like, oh yeah, well, this is a single, this is a single.
Yeah.
We just gonna put it all on one album. It's like, and to me, that's not an album. That's just a bunch of songs on one record. You know what I'm saying? An album to me is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Forest Hill
Okay.
Drive. That's an album to me. Even though Forest Hill Drive had no features. Just the point I'm making is it's an album. You know what I'm saying? Like they put it together. It's a theme or whatever. The problem I see with mad features is you can't really get away with it if the songs are nearly not that good. And it really depends on who you are. If you are a certain artist, you can do you can do 30 songs. But if you are a really good artist, you can do 30. It's a couple of artists, and it's mostly R&B artists that have that many songs. And the albums are actually really good. I just think that at this point of a rapper's career, people when it comes to hip hop music, if you don't have music that they're not gonna listen to repeatedly, they're gonna cut you off. See, R&B music and other genres, they tend to be listened to for years to come. This type of music, especially if you just don't have if it's not catchy or if the hook isn't good or if there's something off in there, they're just gonna listen to it one time and that's it. I think that that's the biggest issue with making these compilation albums or these giant projects is they don't take the time out to say, okay, let's make these songs that are going to be played for 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a bunch of songs on one joint, and that's it. That's how I look at this album. It's just a bunch of songs
That's why I'm
on
like,
one joint.
you get NBA YoungBoy on here, you get Kanye West on here, you get Fabio Foreign on here. What's your point? Like, are you trying to go for a younger audience now? And I don't know, man. I don't think that a under 25-year-old is gonna really go for game. So if okay, you're not going for. That's why I keep going back to what was the real point of this album? Because if you're not gonna go for the radio and go for hits, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then put out something conceptually that's great. And if you're gonna put out something conceptually that's great, 30 songs is not the way to go about it. Like Khaled, and I agree with you. I don't really fuck with Khaled like that, but he gets his joints played in the club and in the radio. That song last year with Lil Durk and Lil Baby was one of the biggest records of the year. It got played everywhere. You know, the clubs, the streets, the strip clubs, wherever. You know, so he knows how to get those bangers out there. Khaled, that's his strength. No matter what you think about his albums, and that's he has an ear for bangers. So that's why people go to Khaled. This is not that energy. This album is not that energy at all. And you got Kanye West, you got Hit Boy. See, Hit Boy, I would have just gotten Hit Boy just for the whole album and made a concept album like a King's Disease 2 or a Burden of Proof. That's what Hit Boy's strength is. Just having Hit Boy on these joints and then Kanye, and you're just putting a whole bunch of shit together, and the compilation failed.
Yeah, he's throwing a bunch of darts at a dartboard and hoping one of them hit the bullseye. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't. I just think
I
that
mean,
that's what it is.
I think the greatest compilation record of all time was Diddy's No Way Out. I think that was. You could even say Chronic, Dr. Dre's album, was a compilation, if you will.
The
You know
first
what I
one?
mean? Huh?
The first one? Or the
Yeah,
second
Chronic,
one?
Chronic, no Chronic. Well, really both
Um,
of them.
I wouldn't
Really
agree
both
with
of
the
them.
first one, but I'll say the second one.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Clearly, the
Definitely the
second
second
one.
one.
Clearly, yeah.
But see, this is the thing. Those were mostly Dr. Dre or Diddy's artists that he knows their strength, he knows their weaknesses,
Yeah.
he knows where to put them in and fit them in or what have you. And you're dealing with two of the greatest executive producers of all time, too.
Yeah.
And P. Diddy and Dr. Dre. They know what the hell they're doing. They have an architect that knows where this goes to here, this goes there, this goes here, this goes there.
Yeah.
And that's the only way a compilation can really work is if you have an architect like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
If
But other
I
than that,
will say, I could agree with that. I think that like I like the what's the name album? That was a compilation album. That was pretty good. The Kanye West one, what was that? Cold Summer? Was that Cold Summer?
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
album was dope.
Cruise
Cruel
Summer.
Summer,
That was
yeah,
pretty good.
that was good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but he was the architect. You know what I'm saying? Of that
Yeah.
album. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think that when you have somebody that is an architect, I'm actually gonna listen to that when I get off of here. I actually
Yeah.
like that album a lot. um,
Yeah.
I think that if you have an architect and you have somebody that actually puts together this work and say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is how it's gonna go. Instead of having an artist, because I think Game is a good artist, but I don't think that he has a direction. You know what I'm saying? Because all his albums to me kind of shoot all over the place. But even his first album, which I think is a classic, his first album, he got 5 of those songs. I think 4 or 5 of them was from 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? So
But
a
see,
lot,
Dre exec produced that.
yeah.
Dre and 50 exec produced that, and they knew how to formulate that
But
album.
they
He doesn't
said that,
have that
but
guidance.
before he did that, this is what they said. What we're talking about right now. Dre said this guy can't make an album on his own. He said that. So this is the reason why 50 had those singles and he gave them to him and said, "Yeah, we're gonna do it like this and this one." That's what
But
happened
remember, he Game was shelved for like 3-4 years.
because he couldn't make an album.
Yeah. And you see it now that he has to dress his albums up so much to make it look like, okay, I could make credible work here, but it's not it.
That's not it. No.
It's not it. Yeah, so the compilation album, I that's not the route to go for me. But if you do, you better know what you're doing. That's the only thing I'd say with that. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap up really game weekend in the end of the day. But yeah, Drillmatic, um, Heart versus the Mind. It's nothing more than a 6 out of 10 for me. Um, so just check out our podcast. We're gonna upload both of these to Shadow Code Radio. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. We got to start getting subs up now. Start spreading the word. You know what I mean? We're gonna come with more content. We're gonna try and double up our content. I'm also gonna start doing more of my individual reviews on Shadow Code Radio. There's a lot of good hip hop out there, so you're gonna see a lot of my picks up there. Reese is gonna do his picks up there as well. So check us out, Shadow Code Radio. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We will have both of these two segments up later tonight on our station. So with that, you have a good Sunday night. Thanks for joining us, y'all, and we'll talk to y'all. All right, peace.